Hi, hello, Rachel Collins here, the Happy Mummy Health Coach. Today I'm talking to you about eczema. Now, so many people come to me with skin complaints, and we can make a huge difference with your diet and the products you use on your skin. So stay tuned. Okay, so I get an awful lot of people asking me about dry skin conditions, so eczema, psoriasis, and just generally sort of patchy, red, inflamed or sensitive skin. Now, our skin is kind of the final frontier of our health. It really tells us what's going on internally, and that goes for acne and rosacea and things as well. Um, and I would say, I have around a 98% success rate with helping people manage their eczema without using medicated creams or steroid creams. And obviously, a lot of us, we don't want to use those kinds of creams on ourselves, but we really, for some reason, mums particularly don't want to use that stuff on their young children. I remember when Isla had eczema, she was one, or just coming up to one, and the last thing I wanted for her was to have steroid creams. So I tried an awful lot of different things. I researched this like crazy, and I pulled out all of my nutrition knowledge to work out how to manage her eczema without the use of medicated creams. And since then, I've helped lots and lots of clients with this as well. So I want to share with you what I've done and the things that made the biggest difference. So we're going to start off by looking at diet, because really your skin is, it tells you what's going on internally. So let's start with dealing with the root cause of the problem. And then I'm going to touch on products as well that you put on your skin to help when you're having flare-ups, or your children as well. This will work for your kids as well. So diet, there's two things you need to do. One of them, cut out the crap and the stuff that's making it worse. And the other one is to add in the good stuff, and really high doses of really good stuff. You can choose to do one or the other, but the best results are going to come from doing both of those things, cutting out the bad and adding in the good. So what is the bad? Well, most people find that cutting out dairy and gluten make the biggest difference. And the other thing that makes a big difference is cutting out sugar. So let's talk about gluten for a moment. A lot of people find that cutting out gluten improves their skin. But don't go for all the gluten-free, highly processed stuff, because that really doesn't help. Plus, it's kind of gross. Like gluten-free bread, oh my God, it's horrible. No, not worth it. Just don't. Gluten-free pasta, again, it's highly processed, and in terms of overall health, it's not going to be doing you any favours. So if you want your pasta, go for brown rice pasta. Try, we always have brown rice spaghetti if I'm doing, our version of spaghetti bolognese in this house, and it's lovely. It's absolutely the same, but it's naturally gluten-free. So look for naturally gluten-free products. And it may be that for now you're going to have to cut bread out of your diet. And if your skin is really bothering you, hopefully that won't be too big of a deal. Also, cutting out dairy. Now, dairy really does make a big difference. And the one, if I was going to find, just one food to cut out, one thing to cut out, dairy is probably the one that makes the biggest difference. So some people find after cutting out gluten for a while, they can add it back in once their symptoms have cleared up, every now and then, and they are able to tolerate a little bit of it. So you don't have to miss out on toast forever. It's just while you clear your symptoms up, you need to cut it out, and then you can add it back in again, which is fantastic. But dairy, most people find they really do need to stay more strict on dairy. So when I say dairy, I'm talking milk, cheese, yogurts. And the thing with dairy, it's a complicated one. But definitely cut out milk. And if you're pouring milk all over your cereals in the mornings, you need to start switching to a plant-based milk, almond milk, rice milk, hemp milk, oat milk, soy milk. If you can tolerate soy, there's lots and lots of alternative milks out there which are really great for cereal. For coffee and tea, you might be a bit more fussy about the milk that you have. Try a few different ones out. I love almond milk in a coffee. I don't do well with alternative milks in tea. So if I had to cut out dairy completely, I just wouldn't really drink tea, or I'd have it black, because that's my personal preference. You've got to go out there and try a few different ones. But definitely cut out dairy. When it comes to things like yogurts and some cheeses, there might be a way you can keep them in, and I'll touch on that in just a moment. The other thing that you need to really, really reduce is sugar. So most people find that sugar flares up their eczema. If they have a bad day and eat loads and loads of sweets, ice cream is a double whammy, sugar and dairy, definitely, really, it's horrible, I know. Try and avoid that one. Chocolate is another one that tends to have a lot of dairy in it and sugar. But you can make your own chocolate and you can avoid all the dairy and sugar. It's amazing. So yes, you need to try and keep sugar low. Now, it's really, really hard to completely cut sugar out of your diet. It's hidden in an awful lot of things. Plus, there are natural sugars in things as well. And natural sugars, there's so much debate over this at the moment. Some people are really anti-fruit because it's high in sugar. Some people just focus on cutting out the processed stuff, not putting spoonfuls of sugar over their breakfast and in their tea, and not buying sweets. That's the best place to start. Start by cutting out all the processed sugar. And at a later date, if you're still having problems, then you can get more strict. Then you can think about reducing down those natural sugars. Then you can think about looking at the amount of grains that you're consuming, because grains like rice and pasta, porridge, oats, that all turns into sugar and has a similar effect on the body, but you're getting loads of really good nutrients from those grains as well. So don't cut them out unless you really need to. Start off by cutting out the processed sugar, the sugar that you really don't need, the sugar that has no nutritional value, and see if just doing that will make the difference. So you need to cut out gluten, cut out dairy, and go low on sugar. They're the things you need to cut out. If you don't want to cut any of those out, then you really, really need to focus on the next bit. The next bit is adding in the good stuff. Now, adding in the good stuff is what's going to boost your immune system and help your body kind of counteract all the bad stuff you're putting into it. And also help your skin heal and really just look after every part of your body. So you need to add in lots and lots of vegetables, as many vegetables as you can with every single meal and every single snack. Getting lots of fruit nutrition is good as well. As I said, you might at some stage need to think about reducing down your fruit sugars, but that's definitely not the first port of call. The first port of call is cutting out all other processed sugars. So to start with, don't worry about eating fruits, and don't worry about fruit sugars. So add in lots of fruits and vegetables. The other thing to add in is lots of healthy fats. So there are lots of plant sources of good fats, things like nuts and seeds, hemp seeds, flax seeds, chia seeds, whack peanut butter on things, as long as it's the good kind, not the kind with loads of added sugar and nasty palm oil, because there's an ethical thing there as well. But yeah, add in nut butters. They are amazing. Avocados, really good source of fats. If you eat meat and fish, wild salmon is a wonderful source of fats. And also things like olives, olive oils, making sure you're using oils in your salads and salad dressings and things like that. That's really going to hydrate your skin from the inside out and really support the cell structure. In terms of supplements, I highly recommend you start on a probiotic. So your gut health is a big part of your skin health. And this is also where you might be able to get away with adding in a little bit of cheese or yogurt. If you choose cheese that has got huge amounts of live bacteria in it, so not, like plastic cheese that you might put in a burger or something, but really good, high quality cheese, the one that comes with the warning label saying don't, not for pregnant women or not for children, because it's teeming with live bacteria. That kind of cheese is going to be supporting your gut health, and actually that might be giving you more benefits than there might be more pros than cons to having that kind of cheese in your diet. And the same goes for yogurt. So if you're going for a natural live yogurt with loads of good bacteria in it, that is not loaded with sugar, and it's the full fat kind of yogurt. That's the other thing. Fats are good. Fats are, not a bad thing. Fats won't make you fat. And often the low fat varieties have even more sugar just to make them taste normal and nice. So you may be able to get away with having yogurt and cheese if they are live and teeming with bacteria, because that will support your gut health, and your gut health will have a massive, massive impact on your skin health. So add in probiotics. The other thing I suggest my clients add in is a highly concentrated dose of fruits and vegetables. So I work with a specific supplement that is clinically proven to improve the skin elasticity and density, and people see a huge, huge improvement in their skin once they start taking this. And it's simply fruits and vegetables in a very, very concentrated form put into a capsule. You can have this in a capsule. You can open the capsules and put it into smoothies or anything if you're not very good at capsules. But also they do a chewable variety for children. And the reason I mention this to everyone now with eczema is because this is the one thing that made the biggest difference for my own daughter. So Isla was coming up to 1. She had eczema all over her tummy, and there's nothing worse than watching your baby kind of clawing at herself and it keeping them awake at night and that kind of thing. I mean, she was lucky it wasn't terrible. I had managed to control the symptoms with diet. She was breastfed. I was on probiotics. I was eating really, really well. I personally had cut out all the things that we talked about. I was gluten-free, dairy-free, all of that. Very, very low sugar. I was eating incredibly well. Her gut health was brilliant. And with breast milk, the probiotic that I take impacts the microbiome of the breast milk. So I knew that she was getting all the really, really good stuff, but it wasn't enough. So when she turned 1 and I was confident she could chew the chewable supplements, this was kind of my last try, my last thing that I could think of adding in, so that we could avoid steroid creams. And within 4 weeks of her starting on these, she'd completely cleared up, which for me was absolutely incredible, because I had done everything else I could think of and I hadn't managed to clear up that eczema. So that's why I recommend this particular supplement to everybody. The clinical studies are there, and I know that clinically it works, but to see it with my own eyes with my own daughter, knowing full well that I'd tried everything else, is what really, really made the kind of difference for me. So just to summarise the diet stuff, we want to cut out the crap. We need to get rid of dairy, gluten and sugar. You may find after your symptoms have cleared up that you can start to have a little bit of sugar and get away with it. You might find that you can have a little bit of dairy, particularly dairy that's live, so yogurts and cheese, and get away with it. You might find you can have a little bit of gluten and get away with it. But that will vary for every single person out there. And it will vary, and it will depend as well on how much you're supporting your body with the good stuff. So if you are taking a high dose of concentrated fruits and vegetables, that will probably counteract the few bad moments that you have. If you are taking a probiotic, that will support your gut health so much that you might be able to get away with being a little bit naughty with what you're eating. So it's all a balancing act. And other than that, yeah, adding in lots and lots of really good healthy fats. So think about flax seeds, hemp seeds, chia seeds, all the different seeds and nuts that are out there. Nut butters are absolutely delicious. Oils, olive oil, flaxseed oil, avocado oil, all that kind of stuff. Really, really great. And then onto products. When you are having a flare up, you really, really want to avoid and for your children as well, because I know kids love, they have a regular bath time and they want to have bubbles in the bath. You need to avoid any kind of drying soaps and bubbles and products in the bath. I always recommend Neal's Yard Remedies products. They do a really good baby range. Now that's not just for babies. Their baby range is so mild and gentle, and it's great for people that have got dry skin conditions. They also do something called a calendula cream. Now, there are other people that do calendula cream as well, but calendula is a really healing herb, and that is fantastic for eczema flare-ups. When you've got really, really kind of dry, sore skin, it's absolutely fantastic. And actually, I always have some of the calendula cream in my medicine cabinet anyway, because it's wonderful to put on cuts and scrapes. My little ones are always getting grazed knees and that kind of thing. So calendula cream is absolutely fantastic for that. You can try things as well like coconut oil. Coconut oil makes a big difference for people, and it's very, very natural. There's no nasty chemicals and anything in that. So with products on the skin, to ease flare-ups, definitely try a calendula cream, because that's a really healing herb. Avoid putting lots of drying chemicals in the bath. Don't use, and I know a lot of them seem absolutely lovely, but they're really not great for you. So things like bath bombs, they're not ideal to put in your bath. You really, really do need to get something that's incredibly gentle and all natural. So look for things with lots of oils in and, essential oils instead of perfumes and that kind of thing. So Neal's Yard Remedies is a really great brand. There are a few others out there that you can try. And yes, the Neal's Yard Remedies baby range, even for grown-ups, it's really, really great. They also do a baby balm, which is a really gentle, perfume-free balm that you might find quite soothing. Again, it's kind of made up, there's coconut oil and a range of other oils in there that you might find really, really helpful. I think I've covered everything. If you've got any questions, please just comment below the video, or you can send me an email, rachel@rachelcollins.co.uk. I hope you find this helpful. If you want to try any of the products I've talked about, I will be putting links below, or you can always email me and ask me questions and find out a bit more. Take care, and I'll see you all soon.